There we
Hello.
go.
Here we are. Hi, Laurent.
Hi, Pam. Hi, and hi, everyone I don't know how many is everyone because we can't see a
We don't.
thing, but hi, everyone who is here already. Um, and we're going to give
Welcome.
a couple of minutes of good morning. And if you have time, you know how it
Ah,
goes. Yes, where are you calling from?
ah,
Blah, blah, blah. Exactly. There is a
yeah.
lot of good morning taking place. Good morning, afternoon, and
Ici,
evening. Let's see where you go. California, my God, Canada.
yeah, my hometown, my home country. There we go. Hello from Canada,
Barcelona,
North
very
Carolina,
nice.
Vienna, Austria. Oh, Quebec. From Oakland. Hey, San
Fantastic.
Francisco.
Fantastic.
Ooh, lovely. Austin, Denver, Chicagoland, San Jose. Ooh, we've got people from all over the States and all over the world today. This is exciting.
Yes.
Good morning, afternoon, evening from CTI. Yeah. Oh, Berlin. Right. I'm actually sitting in Germany right now. So that's right up the quote unquote street. Oh, London. Terrific. Nice to have you all with us today. Yeah. So it's hard to know when we're all here, but maybe,
In about a
maybe this
minute,
is the time to,
in about a
yeah,
minute,
about it.
you're going to be all here. Yes, you see,
Yeah.
Vancouver arrived.
Vancouver slid in. Yeah. Yeah, that's lovely. See if any more are going to join. Oh, it's so nice to have such a spread of people from around the world joining in to see what Coactive is all about. That's so exciting.
Yes,
It's like
so it's
popcorn popping,
exciting.
it seems the last popcorn corn
Y-
seemed to have popped.
Yes, exactly. I think we're
Yeah.
ready. I think we're ready
Yeah,
to go. So thank you
terrific.
for being here. Thank you for being making space in your schedule to join this conversation. And hopefully you'll get something out of it. I mean, part of you will, part of you might a lot, part of you less. Let's see how it goes.
Terrific.
So
Yeah.
my name is Laurent, and I'm with Pam.
Yes, that's me. I'm Pam. So Laurent, you want to introduce yourself just briefly? Tell a little
Yes,
bit about yourself?
quickly, just a few words before we get into some activity together. So, as you might have heard, I mean, I'm French. My accent often gives me away. I've been living in Asia for 20 years, and I moved back to Europe 2 months ago. So now I'm in Madrid, and I've been coaching for 15 years and maybe 5,000 hours now. So quite a few, and leading some of those courses for 10 years. So I'm very excited to share a few things with you. And if again anything useful, that's great. What about you?
Fantastic, Laurent. Yeah, thank you, Laurent. My name is Pam Kowalski, and I'm originally from California, as I mentioned before, but I'm living right now outside of Germany. I've been in the coactive world since 2014, so that's when I did my first courses, and I've been a faculty member here at Coactive since 2020. And
Uh,
I've also, I assume you as well, I'm certified as a professional coach, but maybe you're already certified as a master coach, Laurent, with all those hours. I don't
or
know.
maybe, but that's what we're here to discuss is a track of I mean the joining the coactive group is also going toward the CPCC if you want to. Today, what the reason why we join with Pam is really to share with you some of the things we do, really, some of the skills we're using. And let's take you through what is in the works for us. So here's a few slides we want to share with you. Yes,
Sounds
thank you,
good.
Mira. So
Yeah.
we have two angels with us. We have Mira and Laura.
Yeah.
And Mira is sharing the slide with us. So
Thank
today
you, Mira.
we're going to talk about what coaching is. We're going to share a couple of definitions with you.
And we're going to teach you a learning tool that you've already, maybe
Yes.
some of you, most of you might have already seen. It's called the Wheel of Life. We'll go into depth about that coaching tool.
We're going to experience and talk about some of the skills we use, and some of you most likely already use in some of your coaching or in your work.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're going to see those skills through a demo that we'll do, a live demo on this very webinar. And you may have in the back of your mind, if you'd like to be our demo client, So if you're interested in that, you can keep that in the back of your mind. And when we ask for a demo client, you can pop your name in the chat. So keep that in the back of your mind.
And in full transparency, we hope that many of you want to be the demo client, because the more you want to join as a demo client, yes, and the more it's going to be interesting for everyone. Then we're going to talk about it. So we're going to do a debrief, and we're going to do it all together. No pressure. We're going to support you in the debriefing, but nevertheless, we're going to do it together, and then we're going to go in a bit of a Q&A.
That's right.
For any question you might have.
And this whole thing we're going to manage to do in an hour. There was a question in the chat about how long it'll be. Roxana, 1 hour. So we'll end at an hour from 7 minutes ago, whatever that time is for you, where you are in the world. Yeah. So that's our agenda for today.
Yes.
And then maybe we can move on, Mira, to take a look at our designed alliance, how we want to be together. Thank you. So you should know first and foremost. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Laurent.
Exactly. First and foremost, nothing is scripted, and that's what we're going to you're experiencing also here is a little bit of how it's happening in the core curriculum in the classroom, whether you're online and in person. There are two of us, and the two of us are contributing, co-contributing, co-creating what we're discussing. We don't know who's the demo client, if I call you that, who is going to be. We haven't decided who necessarily is saying what. That's one thing.
That's true. Yeah. And normally coaching is a very confidential affair. There's confidentiality all the way through it. In this webinar, because this is being filmed and you're all witnessing, of course, there's no confidentiality in this particular demo that you're going to see today. But normally there is confidentiality.
So choose your topic wisely, make it useful, relevant, pertinent, and please do not bring your most existential and secretive topic today.
That's right.
On top of this, of course, it's going to be a real topic. It has to be charged with enough desire, enough desire for exploration and discovery, so that the coaching can take off. It's really a combination of elements. That's a little bit about that.
That's true. And I see a question in the chat about whether or not this recording is going to be available later, and it certainly will be. I'm not sure where it's going to be posted. Maybe Laura can give us that answer in the chat, where they can find it after it's ready and posted. Or maybe Laurent, you know already. Do you know where that's
yes,
going to be posted?
going to be, Laura mentioned that apparently it's going to be uploaded on the Coactive YouTube channel a bit later.
YouTube.
So that's, you're going to have this one and a whole bunch of other things that we are sharing more and more these days around those demonstration and discussion around the coactive models and its way of being demonstrated.
And the link is right there in the chat as we speak. Thank you, Laura, for putting that in there. That's fantastic. Or it might have been Mia. Thank you so much. So how about we move to the next slide and get a little definition of what coaching is. There we go.
Yes, go for it.
So as you can all read along with me, coaching is partnering with individuals in a thought-provoking, creative process that inspires these individuals to maximize their personal and professional potential. And that definition is given by the International Coaching Federation, which is the governing body for all coaching organizations here, which we adhere to very closely here at CTI. So that's the definition that we're working with today. Laurent, what does that mean to you, this definition?
Yeah,
what does coaching mean to you?
I like the ICF. I like those organization because they do a good work in holding the conversation alive in the professional community. And what I like specifically about this definition or this proposition of definition is a notion of creative process, because coaching is indeed a process, is indeed a creative dimension. There is a creative dimension between two or more participants to a provocative and provoking, but often provocative conversation to generate some of the potential or the potency or the power of people to express itself through interaction. And I found that very true. And the more we put in, the more we get out. What about you?
That's so true.
What's your take on these days?
Yeah, well, absolutely. What you've just said, 100%, like a +1 on that. What I like about coaching as a coach, when I'm coaching, what I feel is it's like you kind of step alongside someone while they're while they're doing their journey through life. And it's that feeling of being accompanied through the questions that you might have about what you want in life, or it's about maybe being with something that's not so easy to be with. So the coaching is really that process of exactly that, partnering, being side by side with someone along their path in life, for as long as that partnership seems to serve. It's very empowering. Yeah.
And
Ooh,
I think
there's
now
a
in
thought coming.
2024, maybe in a few years ago, 10, 15 years ago, those definitions were a little bit more, or those proposition conversation were a little bit more nebulous. But I think nowadays, this is very current. It's something the way of being, which is more and more current in organization. And therefore, when you join the coaching conversation as a coach or as a client, there is an empowerment which is already available, a benevolence which is available to bring back to wherever you come from and wherever your context is. And that's also what we want, also why we're here, and what we want to share is make those definitions sort of alive wherever you go and whoever you're with. Because maximizing someone's potential is available at the family table, it's available in couples, it's available everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, no need to be in a
That's so
coaching
true.
conversation only.
That's right. Yeah, these coaching tools and skills can be used across the board with all relationships you're in. Absolutely. So I'm curious to know, from your perspective, what is coaching? What isn't coaching, Laurent? What would you say that coaching is not?
Okay, I will respond. I will promise, I will respond. And it makes me think that maybe we can give the voice or the chat to anybody in the room. If you want to say what coaching isn't or is not, or if you have an idea or metaphor, analogy, or anything, the title of a movie to tell us what it is not, please
What is coaching not?
jump in.
Yes. Great
Yes, because
idea.
it's also
Yeah.
not, it's also, what is it? Giving instruction, giving advice. Yes, this
That's
is
true.
not
No,
coaching.
that's right.
Solutioning,
Yeah.
exactly, telling people
Oh,
what to do,
no,
fixing,
not
consulting.
fixing. Nope. Exactly. It isn't counseling or a psychiatric evaluation. That's so true. And it's not therapy. Nope. Or
It's not passive
passive
aggressive
aggressively.
agenda. Are you talking about a boss or something? Are you, are you
That's
talking
so,
about a
we've got
colleague?
to,
Yeah.
yeah. We've got a wise group
Yes,
here,
let me
Laurent. Look at
coach
this. There's
you.
lots of
I had
experience.
this coaching conversation with my colleagues the other day. He didn't get it. Yes, that is not coaching.
That's
It's
right.
not
Yeah.
also, it's an equal partnership.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
not, there is no hierarchy in coaching. There is a
Yeah.
coach and there is someone who wants to engage in a coaching conversation to access more of his or their resources, and that there is no hierarchy there.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
all of this.
It seems like our group has a good feel for what, at least what coaching is not. So if you take the opposite of that, then
Yes.
that's what coaching is. Yeah. So how about we move on to the tool that we'll be using today? What do you say?
Okay. Yeah, let's go there.
Okay, so we've got a slide that shows you the Wheel of Life, which is a coaching tool that we often like to use sort of early in the coaching journey to help get a snapshot of where people are in their current lives. And we see that there, as you can see on the screen, there are 8 sections on this Wheel of Life. And together they can represent sort of one way of describing a whole life. Of course, you can change these categories to be different. You can tailor it to what you like. But these here, we have, for example, family and friends. We've got partner and romance. Or exactly this, yep. We've got career. I'm sorry. Here it says significant other in
You're
romance.
playing with
That's
your
what it says.
glasses? Oh, yeah, with the
Yeah.
screen.
Well,
Yes.
I'm looking around
Money
on the
is
curves.
money,
Yeah.
health, personal growth, physical environment, all these things and many more. And yes, so we call this the wheel of life because, I mean, it looks like a wheel. Many things are in circle and revolution in life, and we kind of subdivide it like a pizza or something to share the many contexts and identify or recognize that they have an impact on each other, and not all contexts experience the same degree of satisfaction, and also that satisfaction is very personal, very personal. So an 8 for you might not be the same as an 8 for me, and
Yeah.
for every, and an 8 in career might not feel the same as an 8 in money. So it's all dependent, all relative, all subjectives, and that's the beginning of conversation, and we'll see very soon. Thanks to Pam, who is going to take us through that demo how it's going to work. I see there is a definition, just a
Yeah.
quick one. I see there is a question about where can I find the definition from Dina. Okay, so you
Oh,
can find this on the ICF website and most likely
absolutely.
also
Yeah.
on the Coactive website, and it's going to
Mhm.
be, yes, and it's here for you to also in this conversation.
Maybe one of our
What
angels in the
else?
back can pop a link to the ICF website or the Coactive website to find that. So to get a little specific about this Wheel of Life, some of you, maybe even all of you, were given access to this Wheel of Life that you might have actually already gone through and put a little value for yourself. Family and friends. Where do I stand with family and friends on satisfaction level? Am I at a 1? Am I at a 6? Am I at a 9? And then I'll put a little dot there. So if you happen to have the form and you're just kind of playing along with us, take a moment to sort of mark for yourself. This is satisfaction level. It's not the amount, like how many friends I have or how much money I have. It's how satisfied I am with the current status of that part of my life. And then when you've put all the points in, you can connect the dots and see how smoothly your wheel is rolling, your wheel of life. How smooth is it? This is an example. Please don't take this as mine, but you could. It doesn't matter. But this is just an example of what it might look like. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't done it yet, please take the time to draw it or to complete the document. It's going to make the next piece even more interesting for you. Because what's going to be interesting, of course, is to witness and to observe Pam and her way of coaching, but also the more you will have completed this for yourself and give it a little bit of thought, although it's quite simple, but yet connected with the wheel, the more interesting this is going to feel for you.
That's right.
Okay.
So we had a couple of folks who were interested in maybe being a client for us today. I would love to hear just once more in the chat, those of you who have already finished your Wheel of Life and would be ready to maybe step forward. We'll just see who pops in and we'll just kind of randomly pick someone, right, Laurent? See if there's someone. Eduardo, you were the first one to say that you'd like to be a client. So how about we'll let you step on and be the client today? Are you willing to be coached today? Yes, you are. So I think we need to give you a moment for our angels in the back to get you on screen with us.
And I want to thank everybody
Eduardo.
else also who
Yes.
volunteered. Thank you very much
Yes, your
for
willingness.
volunteering. And that makes it even more interesting for everyone. And
It
I mean,
does.
maybe next time or maybe in another module. But yes, this is also where the learning is
That's right.
in those conversations. Okay.
Terrific. Yeah, thank you for your bravery, all of you. Hey, Eduardo, nice to see you here
Hello.
today.
How are you? Good
Hi.
evening.
Yeah, where are
Okay.
you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Nevada City, California. It's up in the Sierra
Okay.
foothills.
Yeah,
I'll let
lovely
you,
area.
I'm going to leave you, California people. I'm going to go back. I'm
Okay,
going to
Laurent.
leave all of it to get. I'm going
Yeah,
back to my scene. Let me take
yeah.
off the
Hey,
video and
Laurent,
this. Oh, do you need anything
once you've
from
stepped
me?
out, yeah, I'd love you to give me a little sign at 12 minutes, 12
All
minutes,
right.
so that I'll
From now.
not,
Okay. Here we go.
because I'm sure we could talk for hours together, Eduardo, you and I, but we'll try to keep it nice and short and sweet. So Eduardo, thank you so much for offering to be my client today. So I'm assuming by you saying that you'd like to be my client that I have permission to coach you?
You do, yes.
Yes, perfect, perfect. Is there anything that you might need from me while we do this little coaching demo? Something that I can offer you to make you feel comfortable here today?
Feeling pretty comfortable, but also let me know if I go off tangent of whatever we're working on. Because I sometimes
Sure,
tend to
yeah.
be
Oh, we all do. Yeah. I'll rope you back in. If you rope me back in too, yeah? You rope me back
Okay.
in?
Yeah, deal.
Terrific. Okay. Great. Deal. Okay. So do you have your wheel by any chance printed out so you can like just show it in the screen, or is it more
You
like
know,
a
I'm a
electronic
I'm
thing?
I'm a purely digital person, and so I did
Also
not
good.
print anything out, but I did
No.
do the exercise.
Perfect. All right. So with all of the wedges that you have on the wheel, was there one wedge there that you thought you would like to maybe see a little more movement in? One wedge in particular?
Yeah, I would say the career wedge was about a 6, and I'm looking to improve
6.
that. And
Okay.
everything else seems pretty solid in 8s, 9s. So trying to figure out how I can get that career wedge a little bit higher.
Okay, terrific. Yeah. So let's just start with the career wedge, and maybe you can tell me a little about how you know that career is a 6 for you right now rather than already an 8. What's a 6 like in career?
Well, six for me this year was a drastic change in my career path. I was managing a support team for 10 years, and then I was actually laid off in April, which kind of
Oh,
jostled my thinking about the role and thinking about what I was doing with my career, and also made me really actually realize in probably the last year and a half of doing the role. I was not feeling much fulfillment in what I was doing, which also I think kind of led me to this area of needing to like wanting to really re-examine it.
yeah, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. So if this is a six right now, where you're in a layoff position and you're kind of contemplating what's next, um, when you look around the space that you're in, so right now you're sitting in front of me at the six. If you could move yourself physically to somewhere in your area that's still on camera, that would feel more like a positive shift. Uh, you know what? I'm going to stop right there and ask, first of all, what number would you like to reach? If you're now at a six, where would you like to go?
I would like to take it to a 9.
A nine.
Yeah.
Great. So in your space that we can see on the camera, what feels like a nine space for you in the room you're in?
Actually, I love this space. I love my area that I'm in. Have
Yeah.
a beautiful view of the trees in the forest outside my window, so I cannot give that up. So I think
Yeah.
I'm really happy where I'm at physically.
Yeah. Terrific. So I guess I'll be a little bit more clear. If we're standing here and this is a six, I'd like you to move your body to a place that might feel closer to a nine, and it might be just a little shift to the left or to the right because you can see a big tree out the window or something. But where would you shift to be closer to the space of a nine?
I think maybe about here.
Here. Okay. Then I'll come over here with you. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just curious, since you mentioned the window, what is it you see out the window from here?
I can just see more trees.
More trees. More trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine this is the space of nine in career. You're standing firmly in nine. What's different here? What do you feel here at the nine in career? Did I lose you? Are you with me?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I
There
must
we
have
go. You're
for a
back.
second. I'm back.
Terrific. Yeah.
Um,
So
what's different about this feeling?
yeah, if you were standing firmly in a nine in career, like you are, we've shifted to the nine. So now tell me, what's it feel like here at a nine?
Here it feels like I just have a better view of what I'm my environment. Yeah. Just
Better
a better view.
view. Yeah. A better view. I'm curious, when you have a better view, how do you stand when you have a better view? What's the way you
Little
might stand differently?
I'm feeling like this is like a really comfortable stance right now, woman. I'm in
Uh-huh.
a comfortable
Yeah.
stance.
Can you describe, are you leaning on something a little bit
I am
so I
leaning
can
on
kind
the
of mirror
desk.
you?
I am leaning on the desk now,
Yeah.
on my
Okay, cool.
like,
Yeah.
maybe my left leg is getting a little more pressure than my right, but it feels
Yeah.
better.
All right. Yeah. So what's in this stance here? What are you noticing as you stand here?
I've got some support from
Uh-huh.
the desk.
Yeah. There's some support. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is here at the nine?
Comfort.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about comfort in the realm of career. What would comfort look like in the realm of career?
Uh, Comfort in the realm of career would be just understanding that I am like whatever I'm doing is supported. Um,
Huh?
I guess like whatever I'm working towards also just like feels more stable.
Oh, stable. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me more about stable. What does stable feel like in the realm of career?
Stable in the realm of career for me would be having more clarity on what it is that I'm using my skill set and the things that really bring me passion in to do.
Yeah. Well, tell me more about that. What brings you passion?
Um, I really enjoy helping people. I really enjoy like just helping people be.
Mm, helping people be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. When you say that, there's a calmness that comes over you, like a real serenity as you say that.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I I I I think about the last 10 years of what I've done and what like brought me happiness in those 10 years. And
Hmm.
in my role as a manager, sure, I loved like managing, leading, but the parts that actually brought me joy were actually helping people find their passions and find their being in life. And
Oh,
that is
yeah.
that's what kept me in the role for so long.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of when I was starting to feel unhappy in the role, um, I wasn't able to pull myself away from it. But like, I feel like the layoff was like a blessing in disguise because
Mm.
it's had me reevaluate what I want to do with that skill set.
Yeah. And so when you talk about the skill set that you'd like to use in your nine in career, what are some of the skills that are there?
Um, I think when I think about it and what's kind of led me to this path of seeking out career coaching, um, I think it's that. I think I
Uh-huh.
really feeling called to coach.
You've been called to coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. When you say those words out loud, what's the impact they have on you?
Sense of relief.
Uh-huh. Relief. Ah. Ah. In
Ah,
the relief, I'm sensing a little bit of, I don't know, I'm just gonna spit this out. Like, what is the relief? What's the that's there? What's falling off your shoulders?
excitement.
Oh, there's excitement there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a
So where do
spark.
you feel the
I feel a spark
go ahead?
again. It's like
A
this like
spark.
feeling inside. It just feels excited again.
Excited. Ooh. And this is what the nine is like. There's excitement and there's the spark and there's the stability and there's the support, like the leaning, support and knowing that you're doing something that you value is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Terrific. So I'd like to invite you to take a step back over to the six. All right, we're going to kind of just wander over there for a minute, back over to the six. Yeah. And so here's the six where you are now. Now look over at the nine. Yeah. What is one little step you could take today to get you just that much closer to that nine that you want to experience?
Um, I think it it was doing this.
Yes, already you've taken a huge step in, especially being courageous and volunteering to be the client today. Yeah, so that's a step you've already taken. Fantastic. So what's the next step from here? Now you're here and one step closer to the nine. What would that be?
Um, Back to the physical space or or still in the realm of thinking the career.
Well, like if you were thinking, for example, let's go back over to the nine.
Okay.
Let's go back to the nine. Yeah. So you're here, right? You're at a nine. And you've just got this spark and excitement over understanding you'd like to coach. And this is here, it's fresh, it's a spark, there's this excitement. Yeah. So if you from here, from the nine, if you were to look at yourself at the six, what would you advise your six self to do to get closer to come here? What would be one of the steps that you could take?
Uh, just make the change. Do the thing.
Do the thing. What's the thing that you're going to do? What's the thing?
Well, physically, I'm gonna lower this monitor that I have just a little bit more so I can get a little more view of this of the trees. And then also back in this realm, uh, I'm gonna apply for the courses.
For the courses, for the coaching courses. Wow, that's phenomenal that you've come to that decision. And the very next step for you to do that would be what?
Um, Check out my finances, make sure it fits, make sure that it's a right fit for and what I need.
Yeah.
And also I'm in the process of applying for a new role, and
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna also see if I can get it tied into being covered in some of that portion.
Ooh, so I'm hearing actually three steps. There's lowering the monitor to see the trees. Yeah. There's checking out the finances, and there's potentially involving coaching training within your new role that you're applying for.
Yeah.
So of those three things, what would you commit to doing today?
Lowering this monitor.
Lowering the monitor. Yeah. And will you keep track of the other two things that you want to do as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you like to be accountable for? With who would you like to be accountable to is the question. Thank you, Laurent, for these new steps that you're going to take.
I'll be like accountable to myself.
To yourself, huh?
Yeah.
And that's all you need. You don't need to tell somebody else to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I just want you to know, and I'm going to tell you when I do it. You can keep accountability for yourself.
Yeah, I understand if I want to make this change and I want to make these changes for myself, I've got to ultimately also hold myself accountable.
Wow. That came from a place of solidness when you're saying that. And I'm hearing a lot of commitment in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The call is strong.
Oh, and it's time to heed the call, isn't it? Yes. This sounds like it's something that you've been longing to do for a while, something along this direction. And now you're in the process of making it happen for yourself. Wow. Congratulations for these decisions that you're making and the steps you're taking.
Thank
You are
you.
brave.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And thank you so much for being my client on this demo call. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best in your future steps ahead towards that 9 in career as a coach.
Thank you so
All
much,
the
Pam.
best to you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you as well.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and turn off your camera. And if it's all right with you, do we have permission to talk about the coaching, Eduardo, but not talk about you? Is that okay with you? I think he might be already gone. Yes,
Yes.
it is. Okay,
Yes.
Terrific. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Eduardo. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you both. That was really nice. It was really nice, really rich. Thank you so much. We're going to spend a little bit of time in order to thank you and to appreciate you coming forward and sharing some of your dreams and some of your decisions. Promise everyone, we didn't know Eduardo was going to commit to join the coaching class and all the coactive class. It was not planted. So it was not on the screen he has in front of him. But whatever you choose, this one, another one, or not at all, of course, that's always your choice. So thank you for playing with us. Thank you for being yourself. Now we're going to talk about about what we observed Pam doing, the coach. What did she do? How did she do it? What was useful about it? What was the impact? So we had to spend, I don't know, 10 minutes or something like that together. And if there is anything you want to share with Eduardo in the chat right now, feel free to do it. That's also, of course, welcome.
He's saying, I'm not a plant, I promise. Thank you, Eduardo. Yes, thank you. Yeah, this might be a lovely time to acknowledge Eduardo for being the brave client. If you'd like to maybe say something that you can acknowledge about what you've seen in Eduardo's character, who he was being the client. That's always a lovely thing. If you'd like to share that, there's no requirement. That'd be lovely. Yeah.
And of course, that's also a skill, the skill of acknowledging, appreciating a quality, an energy in someone's behavior and someone's response. That's something that we do just to mirror back at the person. That's what I see, and it's of course unattached. There is no necessity to take it on. It's just an invitation to look into the acknowledgement.
That's right.
I can see that the debrief has already started.
It has. They're naming some skills and some things that they've seen. Yes. Lovely.
So Krista, what Carrie started with, yes. So let's talk about what you saw. We'll talk about what we saw as well and the structure of it. But apparently, lots of mirroring. Yes, lots of mirroring, lots of body movements. So we're big on embodiment. We're big on in the coactive model on when your body moves, your mind moves. When you shift your perspective physically, you shift your perspective mentally. And therefore, when we engage with our client, of course, we're not lifting them up and down, but having a conversation where we remind people that their body can help them to access other places, metaphorically and figuratively, is something which is essential.
That's right. And of course, within the realm of their abilities. I neglected to ask Eduardo if he was feeling capable or if it was possible for him to move. That was my mistake. Ta-da, made a mistake. And yet, obviously, we would keep that in mind. Within the realm of the physical capabilities of our clients, we would invite them to move, whatever that might look like for them. Yeah. So we see some other terrific skills. Yes.
And sometimes also when someone says, I can move, but I don't want, that's also cool. There's no problem with that.
Yes. Yeah. So we saw also open questions. Yeah, Carrie noticed that there were open questions that were asked. That's true. That's we also tend to work with what we call powerful questions, not just open questions where they're not yes, no, but they lean into the powerful side that tap into something that really matters to the person.
What we mean by powerful is traditionally they're pretty short. They're pretty short because we're not here to call your mental activities. We're here to get you to respond, to react, to provoke something in you. That's why we call them powerful. So what's here now? How does that make you feel? Like less than 10 words. Then
fantastic.
So and it feels like for this conversation to be, because we are quite a few here, and at least how many? Yeah. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Let's talk about what happened, and then we use the skills. We talk about the skills we saw. So what we saw happened, and I'm going to take you quickly through it, is there's a design, what we call a design alliance, is immediately Pam as a coach design a partnership with her client, asking him what he needs from her, what would be useful, what would help the conversation to be conducive. And that's essential because we too often assume that people are ready. But ready for what? Ready how? It's all based on hypothesis and assumption. So designing the way we partner is, we believe, key to help contextualize and refine the nature of our relationship for the next 10 minutes, the next hour. That's happened. And there was a document. In that case, it's a wheel of life, and please feel free to use it anywhere you go, whether you use it with someone or you use it mentally. It's a very effective tool, inviting people to simply assess and be curious about what's going on. And then Pam and Eduardo identified a wedge. And in that case, Eduardo was really clear. He said, I'm kind of maxing out everywhere, but on the career. So that kind of led the coaching. But sometimes people say, I'm at 5 everywhere, I'm at a 9 there, and I want to work on that one. Or there is no need to go up or down. It's just what's alive for you in that specific part of the wheel. And that's what we're going to work on. And that's where the coach is curious.
That's
We're very curious.
And then the next bit of the coaching is really a lot around digging deeper, as I think someone wrote. Let me see, I can't see who wrote that, but digging deeper. So what does a 9 look like for you? And what does stability look like for you? Or what does I don't know, remember what other words I used. Maybe you remember, Laurent. But what does that mean to you? Digging deeper, exactly, and expanding the understanding of what that means and what's underneath there.
And I really like what you did there, because after a few years of coaching, quite often when we learn new competency, we try to use them. So as a coach, if you trained as a coach, you might have in any profession. So I'm sure you're training many things. All of us, at the beginning, we really try to use our competency hard. So we work hard on using them. But in coaching, if you do a good job, normally you should be pretty much more relaxed at the end of the session than at the beginning as a coach. You have to work as little as possible. Your client is the one doing the heavy lifting. So every word is an opportunity. Everything is about being curious, because every word anyone pronounces is a little bit of the world they paint. And when people paint their world, they often don't know what's hiding behind it. So when we invite them to be curious about what's robust, what's a 9, what's leaning, what's comfort, it could sound a little bit annoying, but actually that's what people are here for, because it's always in your realm of accessibility.
That's right. Yeah. So let's take a look at some of these other things that you noticed here. Carrie, I see also saw acknowledging, which is what we mentioned before, acknowledging the characteristics, the qualities you see in someone. That was definitely there. Open questions were mentioned again, and specific questions, Anne-Marie says, digging deeper. Then we had physically experiencing, says Caroline. Yes, that embodiment that Laurent was just speaking to, really stepping into a space and saying, what's that like here? What are you sensing here? What's available to you from here? But first, physically experiencing something, an embodiment. Yes, it's definitely a part of coaching that we use.
So you use what we call, I mean, it's a little bit of lingo, but we shifted the what's called geography. Like it's almost different perspective, going to different geography of your room, so that you can engage in other perspectives and feel different things. You also, it's not mentioned here, but you were listening a lot. You were not listening to your own thought, Pam, but you were listening to Eduardo's thoughts, and you were also very attuned to what was unfolding or happening around both of you. And if you do the coactive training, you will see we have a very high tech talk about listening. We call this level 1, it's all about me. Level 2, it's what we saw here in front of us. And level 3 is when we start to be a little bit more open with what's happening around us. And you cannot coach without navigating those different levels of listening. Cannot coach effectively, that's what I meant.
That's right, yeah. What else might you have seen, Laurent, in the coaching? Maybe some skills that you noticed.
Quite a few things. I have a whole list here. One thing you did a lot of what we call, you identified something, you saw something in Eduardo a few times, and I'm sure you have noticed as participants. When I help people to be, and you immediately, when Eduardo said, I like to help people to be, and you noticed this identifiable shift in energy. And you highlighted it, and you paused here, and you said, "Oh, I can hear that this means something to you." So what we did here is you articulated what was happening in front of you, and then you asked a question just to help Eduardo to access where this shift in energy would take him. And this is a very valuable and useful skill in coaching, and definitely in the coactive framework around helping people to see themselves and be curious about what's behind the way they behave. It's called articulating what's going on. Quite a few times.
Yeah.
You also identified a lot of Eduardo is big on fulfillment, like many of us, I dare say, around here. And you played with his values. You asked him about his values, and not in the value term, but you asked him about what matters to that. And that's when, Eduardo, you talked about your what made you fulfill at work when you help people to identify what they like to do, and that's why you shifted to career coaching. So all these little things you did were highlighting. You also championed him. So what do we mean by championing? While the end of the session, and not only at the end, but clearly at the end of the session, Pam, you really shared with Eduardo your belief in his capacity to step into that place. You can do it, even so that you have him to give advice to himself. Because it was not working, it was a little bit mental, the sick space. So you went into the night and said, give yourself an advice here. I know you can do it. I know that's something you can do. And therefore, boom, here he went, and boom, 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 the 3 steps came in. And finally, and I know we're short on time, but finally, coaching, designing alliance, exploring, all of this is really nice. It's really interesting, whatever the time we have. It's interesting when we do something with it. So what we call here is generating accountability, and what we call is forwarding a little bit some action outside of the session. And that's what you did when you asked him about the steps. And it's not enough. Not only what will you do, when will you do, and who, how will you know? How will we know? Who will make you accountable to it? Which is a little bit when what you say in English, when the rubber meets the road, right?
That's right. Yeah. If we don't have a solid step that comes out, then it might have just been a nice conversation without a moving forward and feeling like there's a momentum moving you towards that place that you're wanting to reach the client. So that's really an important piece that we hold in coaching. We start a little bit to establish what the topic is, a lot of space in the middle to explore. And at the end, you reach that action step, the accountability at the end, to really make it meaningful in a practical way in your client's life. So that was fortunate that it worked out. Yeah. Yeah.
Carrie has a question for you. She's asking, if he was an ongoing client, might you have pushed him on the accountability piece? What would be your answer now?
Well, my answer now would have been, he seemed, well, I think I named it even at that place in that coaching, is that he seemed so solid and committed in his stance. Not everybody needs an external accountability partner, but claiming that he was going to be accountable to himself, that felt like enough for him. And so, of course, as his coach, then it's enough for me as well. If you were an ongoing client, of course, we check out and say, hey, how did it go with the steps you wanted to take? What did you learn from that? So there would have been ongoing dialogue about what he learned and if he followed through with the steps or not, if any client follows through. And there's always learning, even if they don't. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah.
Exactly. And because it's a string of conversation.
It is. Yes.
Let's pay attention to time. Anything else you guys are curious about, the session, or any questions you have for us? Any things you noticed that you would like us to explore further?
You know, Carrie, I just want to follow up with Carrie had asked the question about if he were my client, would that have been accountability had been different? And she names here that I was really trusting him. Absolutely. You know, one of the things about coactive coaching, we work with a really beautiful model. I'm just going to show it because I love this one so much. And one of the first cornerstones is that everybody's naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. And that's what I believe about Eduardo, about all of my clients. That's what we hold to be true about every single one of us. And so he's naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. He knows what he needs. And so we can obviously trust our clients to say what they need and to be able to act on that if that's what's really important to them. So trust is really paramount. Thank you for naming that, Carrie. Yeah. So let's see. We've got some questions happening here. I'm thinking this might be the time to shift to the question and answer segment. What do you think, Laurent? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's close the conversation about the coaching. So Eduardo, we will not talk about you anymore. Although you will be on the Coactive YouTube channel or website for a little while in this demo. But let's shift to the question and answer. So if anybody has questions, please put them in the chat. I see that we have a couple here that we'll try to answer in the best of our capacities and capabilities.
Before we ask those questions, you actually have a question and answer little window down at the bottom of your screen that might be a nice place to put questions, because then we can collect them there and they won't get lost in other comments. So if you'd like to pop your questions in the question and answer screen, it's one of those little icons at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So how about we start? Where would you like to start, Laurent? Which question would you like to start?
I would like to start with is the coactive approach successful with group and team coaching? What's your take on that?
Wow. Well, there's so many elements of coactive coaching which translate, as we said before, to all aspects of life, whether it's interpersonal relationships with our friends and families, or whether we're using it in a management or people lead skills. And it's also the same when you're working in groups. When you're working in groups and teams, the listening, the powerful questions, the holding your client as naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, holding people around you, that all of these things are true. The coactive coaching approach that we train in the coactive intermediate courses are mainly focused on one-on-one coaching. But the skill sets that we train are absolutely applicable in team and group settings as well. How would you enhance that answer, Laurent?
I don't know if it's enhancing, but my experience of this is I work with a lot of teams, and I've done a lot of team coaching training and facility and many things. And I think one-on-one coaching is essential to be able to coach a system. And yes, the coactive training, the core curriculum is not having a look at system team dynamics, and at the same time, team dynamics dive into the one-on-one interactions. So that's a bit of my answer to that. But there's a lot of questions.
I do agree with that. So we have from Dinah, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. The client was great at responding, but what would I have done if the client had said, I don't know? Yeah, that's an interesting one. One of the ways that I like to deal with I don't know is, well, what is it that you do know?
Exactly.
What is it that you do know? Or maybe your head doesn't know, but maybe your heart knows something, or maybe your feet know something that you might not be aware of. So you can play with that answer and just get curious rather than making them wrong or making it a problem. That's how I would answer that. What about you, Laurent? What would you say?
That one, I like that one. What do you know? And also, where else in your life do you generally don't know? Like, be curious about. I don't know is could also be a pattern. It's sometimes a step. Like doubting is a step in
Mm.
creativity.
Mhm.
Like sometimes people are full of confidence before they're full of doubt, and vice versa. So I don't know is a very rich step. I think I
Mm.
value people. When I say I don't know, I'm like, well, yes, that's a fantastic place to be in, because now we can
Mm.
be open to something else. So that's yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, there's so many ways to go with the coactive method. You can hyperlink down into what does it mean to really know something. You can explore
Mm,
what's it like to be in the place that you don't know. You can explore where it is that you do know something. What does your body know? Many ways to answer that. Many ways to go from there. I hope that answered your question, Dinah.
mm.
And then there's another question. Do you see? If I want, this is from Christina. If I wanted to embark on the journey to become a coach, which of the modules do you recommend to do live, and which ones could you do virtually? Boy, that is a question, isn't it, Laurent? And my answer to that would be, it really has to fit your life and your lifestyle and your travel ability but whether you do it live or whether you do it online, I think that there's value in both. And I certainly wouldn't recommend that one has to be live and the others could be online. I certainly wouldn't be able to say that because I've seen super powerful elements online, just as I have in live trainings. What about you,
Mm.
Laurent?
Yeah, it's really a case by case situation, because for instance, I know I like in-person conversation, and at the same
Mm,
time I learn to love to appreciate online. Um,
mm,
I Yeah, so it depends. I know some of us in the community of front of the room leaders have opinion about it. Some of us don't. I would like to. I mean, if I was meeting with you, Christina, I would have something to say about it. But from here, I have nothing to say about it because nevertheless, I like the way you point, where you're looking at the pointing in what would be the best environment for me to experience this module to the fullest at this point in my life. And I like that. I think it's, if you have the choice, it's a very valid question. Very valid question.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Let's see if we can go through a few more of these a little bit more quickly. Let's see.
When people being
Shall I
coached,
read this out
you're
loud? The one from
honest.
Stacy?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find people being coached are more honest if you don't work with them or know them personally? Is there a rule of thumb on who you take on as a client? Stacey, that's a
Yeah.
great question. I don't know about you, Laurent, but when I started coaching and I was getting my coaching client in the very beginning, of course, I coached anybody who would agree to coach with me. And I tried coaching my friends and family members as well. And I quickly found that that was a really difficult thing to do because
Mm.
when we love someone, we have hopes and dreams for them. And it's very often hard to separate an agenda that we may have for someone who we care about and stay as neutral and as curious as one could be with someone that you don't know as well. So that's the way I've discovered it. What about you, Laurent?
Same. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a similar question, and for the sake of time, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay.
You mentioned trust is fundamental to the coaching relationship. As a coach, you have to trust the coachee knows what they need. Have you ever had a coachee who can undermine the trust, even though they do not have an accurate sense of what they need? So, I mean, that question, I again appreciate the question and the way it looks at the edge of the relationship and how people can be naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. Following on the Pam's comment, showing you the model, the proactive model here, like, yes, when I can't hold in my mind that people are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, I refer them to places where I think they might be able to get more support than I am trained or certified or feel able to offer. Sometimes, to answer the same question, sometimes it's just a conversation with a coachee, with a client, and we move on. But if it's not moving on, then the whole point is to offer support, the right support for the person we're working with.
That's true. Yeah. And then there's also the place of what is the definition of accurate sense of what they need. You can get curious about that. You can really do a deep dive in what's accurate and what's maybe what they need today isn't what they need tomorrow. And maybe that can shift and that can be okay too.
And how do I know What's security?
And how do we
I have
know?
no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you coach a client long-term, says Anne-Marie, or maybe I skipped over Judy.
Yeah,
Well,
Judy,
first we'll do Anne-Marie.
Judy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Judy
Go
first?
ahead.
Okay. Are
Go
there
ahead.
any resources or courses that introduce coactive model to parenting? As a parent and a coach, I'm very passionate
Yes.
about exploring the synergy here. I don't know of courses that, I don't know. Do you know of something that actually pairs them specifically and names coactive coaching with parenting, Laurent?
No, not specifically, but I know
No.
many, many, many coactive coaches who are also working with parents.
Yes.
Many, just many.
Many,
There are,
yes.
you know, we have when you join the coactive community, there is all these Facebook groups and many other places with people specializing, and but mind you, there is also a relationship dimension, so a systemic dimension also, that when people focusing on parenting coaching would also explore in full transparency.
Sure.
So, but many of our colleagues are working. I mean, I like to work with parents. So yes.
Yeah.
It's not specific.
Actually, the short answer might be, I don't know that there would need to be something specific from coactive targeting parents, because all of it is already in this model. I mean, everything you would need to be able to coach parents is already right here. So that's what I would hold, that it's there. A parent, parents as a system, as you mentioned, would maybe need a little bit of system help, but a parent for sure. The process of being a parent. Okay, so then Anne-Marie had the question.
Yeah, if you coach a client long term, same for more than a year, how is a coactive model design? Yes. So what's your take on this, Anne-Marie?
Oh, this coactive model, there's no end to what you can explore here. There's really no end. You know, the degree to which your client really wants to continue exploring themselves, their impact in the world, you can, there's no time limit. There's no end to the discussion. How would you say?
No, I just want I want to answer, and at the same time I try to, because I can see we have 2 minutes left. So Joe, we have a question. In-house sales coach and really log many hours. Would the coactive still worth the cost? Yes, we have many people. Yes, I know, depending on what you've done before and what's your experience, but we have many of the participants we see today are people with a coaching experience and coach training experience, and find a lot of value in the coactive core curriculum and certification, because they're quite robust. And I think, Joe, and it would be useful maybe for you to speak with some of people in the community to, if you wanted to. I'm sure they would be open to help you feel comfortable around this.
That's right. Yeah, you can contact service@coactive.com, and I'm sure they can give you resources on how you can connect with somebody to specifically talk about that. The last question I think that we have to cover is from Priti. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If one wants to become a coach, how does one find people to coach in order to get certified? And once certified, how easy is it to find clients? Well, Priti, it's actually very easy. There's the coactive setup is such they support you in finding clients for your certification process, and everyone always ends up getting enough clients for their certification process. And then after that, finding your clients is really about opening yourself to sharing to the world that this is what you do, and the clients really do come. I think that the first step is to just launch and see what you think from the program. What would you say, Laurent? Anything to add?
I agree with you. And I want to take a left turn because I saw that Joe also wrote in the chat, and he's talking about 1,000 hours of practice. So yes, Joe, please contact people in our community to see how that works with you. And I think I want to tag your answer, Pam, to Dina's question about what has been your personal key to success. Keep practice, community conversation, and follow. The practice is practicing you. That's been definitely something that works really, really well for me. What about you, Pam? And conclude.
Oh, we're already a minute over, so I'll say yes to what you've just said. Practice, and I think really having the courage to just show up, really show up and be your authentic self as you practice coaching. That's, I think, part of key to success is owning who you are and owning that that's of value to the world. That's a really essential component. I think we are just overwhelmed with your interest here in the chat. So many comments. We couldn't even touch on a fraction of them, I'm afraid to say. Thank you for your participation today. Thank you again to Eduardo for being our client. And thank you for all of you engaging with us on the chat. was lovely to have you
Yes.
here.
Thank you, Pam, for this beautiful session. Thank you, Eduardo, and thank you everyone for your questions. And as always, we hope we haven't offended anyone in the process. That's always the same thing, and hope that we created value for you in your life in this time of day. Enjoy the rest of your day or your evenings,
To the
and
rest of your day.
see you around. Yeah, see you there.